Hey guys, here's the problem. You got a shiny, brand new MiG-19 here, and you're on the ground, and your victims, I mean the enemy pilots, are in the air. Hey, no fears, I'm here to help. First, we're going to get this thing auto-started and going. Once all that stuff's going, the first thing we're going to do is load your weapons. Rearm. Rearming, just get, like you say you're going to go up and do air-to-air stuff. Get your missiles, get your fuel tank so you can burn that JP. Switch your number over, pick your camo, whatever you like to do. You're good to go. Those guys are going to get rolling on that. Now, while they're doing all that, we're going to get started flipping switches and pushing buttons. We're going to get all these down here on the bottom, except for the 2 cameras. We don't really care about that. Next, we're going to hit the bombs. If we got bombs, we want to make sure we arm those. Here we have an issue with your pepper being way too bright. I like bringing this guy down just a hair there, especially if you're attacking ground targets. Next, we're going to need to do the jettison rocket pods, tanks. That's also for your parachute. We got to keep that all open and ready. Turn your RWR on. Switch your channel over to channel 4. Volume goes up. Then lastly, we're going to move over here and look, switch this from manual to auto for your weapons. Alright, now we're done with all the button flipping. Now we're just waiting for this guy to start up. Unfortunately, this plane is bugged on the Syria map, so it only starts one engine with auto start. So we're going to go over here and click that last one on. It kindly opened the switch and got it ready for us. Now we see it's going to start slowly moving up. As that's getting warmed up and turned on, you're going to start noticing a few more of these switches are going to start coming on. While this is happening, you can do things such as get the chocks removed from your plane, or you can start conversing with your fellow pilots. Remove chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Next, if you have things like the EWR, you want to turn that on.
Chocks are now removed.
Big picture. And now we got all that ready to go. So you're just conversing with your fellow pilots, getting ready for what kind of techniques you're going to use, all of the nice stuff you're going to be doing to the bad guys or your victims, whatever. But we're almost ready. I'll go ahead and usually slide my throttle just a little bit forward so that I know when these are completely all ready to go. You'll see your throttle here move forward when it's all ready to go. And now we're ready to go. It's not too bad. I mean, the MiG-19 takes a little bit of time to get rolling compared to some other planes, but if you know the insight on what to do and how to do them, you can actually get that done pretty quick. I'm going to turn this down. That's pretty loud. But yeah, so now that I've taught you how to get this thing off the ground really quick, I want to kind of go back a little bit slower and tell you about what we're actually doing on some of these. First off, we're going to start with the IFF. This guy right here, this is actually letting, when this is in the up position, letting your friendly aircraft know through their radar. You get a little handshake and they know you're friendly. Granted, if they don't have radar or very early radar, they won't have that, but for the newer fighters, that's nice to have on. Some of the important stops here, obviously generators, the sight, this turns your sight on and off, this turns your, or gives the power to your sight, this turns your radar power on. These are important for rockets. You got to make sure if you're going to be using that, those are on. Left and right cannons here. Next, again, when I said about bombs, if you have bombs, make sure this guy is on. The other thing, since we're down here, you notice neither one of these lights are on. So before you fully take off, make sure you at least arm one of them. And you'll know that it's armed because, boom, that little red light's on. Okay. Also, since we're down here, these little ammo counters you can adjust if you need to, but they're kind of handy in between fights. You can see how much you have, or if you rearm at a base, sometimes they won't fully reset, so you might have to manually do that. But it's handy to have. Again, the Pipper sometimes is just way too bright in battle, or especially ground target. So I just always drop that guy down to about half. Cage and uncage, you guys know the standards on that. Here, these guys, emergency jet, that's your rockets and pods. Gotta have this open if you want to jettison them. They will not, even if you got it bound to a button, they won't work. And that's your bombs and tanks if you need to jettison those. Very, very important, your brake parachute. That has to be down in order to be used. Next, some important stops we need to know. Brake. This latch has to be up. If you don't have it up, you can't get your gear up or down. So that's a very annoying thing about Russian planes. But yeah, make sure you click that up. Next, we have fire extinguisher. That's kind of an important piece. These are the fuel cutoffs for each of the engines. If you have a fire in the air or on the ground, say you have a rough landing, make sure you cut that fuel off before you hit the fire extinguisher. You don't want the fire to come right back on. Another little important thing here, parachutes. So this is actually the parachute jettison button. So you push that whenever after you've used it, and you're going to retake off again when you're rearming, refueling. And then again, over here, that's your weapon selector. There you hear my missiles. And then these are all the rockets. If I had rockets, those would all be lit up. And then as far as this manual, if you're on manual, you're controlling everything when to shoot. If you do the auto, that's when you would hold down for like bombs and bombs and rocket release. And then optic, depending on the weapons, if you want it on optic or if you're going to be using it by radar. That's very weapon specific. But yeah, that's a pretty straightforward lesson on the MiG-19. So you got your fast, quick, beautiful MiG-19 ready to go and rock and roll. All right, guys, y'all have a good one and happy hunting.